Welcome back, everyone. The purpose of this video is to review for the final exam in our CS22 course. What you're looking at on the screen is a good to know sheet. It's like a review sheet that will give you tips and topics that you need to know. The final exam for our CS22 course will have two parts, and we'll cover all the material in the course from week 1 through week 10. So the material that is on the final exam will start at week 1 and end at week 10. Weeks 1 through 10 are on the final. Part 1 of the final exam will have 67 questions, which can be either multiple choice, true or false, drop-down menu, or fill in the blank. Part 1 of the final exam is closed book, closed notes, closed PowerPoints, closed pie charm, and closed internet except for Canvas. Once you start taking part 1, you will have 2 hours to complete it. Now, part 1 will not be available during the entire last week. It will only be available for certain days. What you need to do is go to the modules area of Canvas and click on Final Exam Part 1 and look at the start date and end dates for part 1. Once the end date for part 1 is passed, no one will be allowed to access part 1. Part 2 of the final exam will have 6 programming questions. Now, for each of these questions, you will have to download a .py file. And you'll complete code for maybe the main function and possibly 1 or 2 other functions in the .py file. Now, for some questions, you may also have to download a .txt file, which will be used for file input. When you have finished a program and you want to submit your answer for that question, you will only upload the .py file to Canvas. You will never upload a .txt file. You will only upload the .py file. Part 2 of the final exam will be open book, open notes, open PowerPoints, and open past assignments like homeworks or projects. Once you begin part 2, you will be given 3 hours and 30 minutes to complete it. Just like part 1, part 2 will not be available during the entire last week, so please look at final exam part 2 in the modules and see what the start and end dates are. Once the end date for part 2 has passed, no one will be allowed to access part 2. For part 1 of the final exam, the best way to prepare is to look at the quiz review sheets, just like you have for the quizzes. Now, for part 2 of the final exam, even though it's open book, open note, open assignments, there are some things you should be familiar with. First off, how to open a file for reading. We're going to use a lot of file input. Also, how to use the with statement when opening a file. Very convenient. How to access data in a file with either a for loop or a while loop. Know how to do both. How to split a string. Now, by that I mean use the split function to be able to separate parts of a string into a list. If this doesn't sound familiar to you, what you should do is go to the Files area of Canvas, go to the PowerPoints folder, and then go to the Gaddis folder inside of that, and look at the Chapter 8 PowerPoints from Gaddis. That will tell you how to use a split function. You must know how to input data into a dictionary and display that data. The input can come either from user input or from a file. How to create a class and create objects of that class. How a class can inherit another class, one of the first things we covered. How to remove the \n character or new line character from any data read from a file. That would be using the rstrip function. Now know the following regarding stacks and queues by using linked lists. How to properly add or remove a node. How to display the values of nodes beginning at the head or at the tail. Now know the following regarding double linked lists and circular linked lists. how to add and remove a node at the head or the tail, and how to display the values of nodes beginning at the head or the tail. Know the following regarding binary search trees: how to properly build one, how to do all three types of traversals, that's in order, post order, and pre-order. Remember, for traversals, recursion is your best friend. And know how to create a hash table using a list, not a linked list, just a list, by using both separate chaining and linear probing. You must know how to do both of those techniques. That, ladies and gentlemen, is everything you need to know for this final exam. If you have any questions, please send me an email at kmuldrow@lbcc.edu.